So our group tackled developing markets and holding events in Dublin. So Dublin is the home of several great events and markets already, but there's definitely room for expansion and for better supports for startup businesses. So here's our team. It's not the most exciting slide, so I'll keep going. We have our challenges that we tackled, high cost and big risk for startups, difficult to get into good markets for individuals, and too much bureaucracy to get started. But then we have some opportunities. So there is possibilities for a network of public spaces and a citywide network for people to mentor each other and help each other during the process of starting a business. We could also clarify and streamline the processes and make it easier for small businesses to access market stalls and create a social and cultural hub. So our mission is to create a vibrant market culture by making starting out easy. And we have a campaign phase, process, events, and an incubator phase. The main values that we came up with are a sense of community, variety in the products with both unusual new products and also staple foods, flexible spaces, and obviously value. Our research, we're lucky to have Graham from Cookie Dough in our team. So according to his experience, we found that there's a lot of barriers and that it's a bit of an intimidating process for a small business starter that they have a bit of, that the perception is a lot of bylaws to go by, and there's not a lot of room in markets and a long waiting list. So we came up with Install.
Thank you, Camille. Yeah, so this is our product or service, really, our brand, which we call Install. And what we're trying to do is to answer the questions that Camille has already gone through. At the centre of our, before I go there, the brand, the idea behind Install is to make it easier for stallholders, for organisers of the market, and probably in particular the council and the policy makers, to make it easy for them to develop markets and get into markets. And at the centre of that is a market charter. And the charter, we based around the council's 6 pillars of planning. We were lucky to have Dick on our group, who's a part of the DCC planning group, and he spoke about these 6 pillars, and we tried to integrate that into our charter. We didn't have enough space to put everything into it, so I'm just going to run through it. The first point there is the role of the markets, valuing and optimising the role of markets in the city. And that would include people agreeing and buying into the charter, and a requirements and an understanding for the need for hard and soft infrastructure. And that would include probably initial finance to start these things off. Recognising the economic benefits for the city as a whole, for local neighbourhoods and communities, and for the market and the market holders themselves. And that would mean understanding that startups create new wealth and they create innovation, that longer term market holders and stall holders develop the market and the heart of the market. And they're also very important from a networking and a mentoring point of view for newer startup market holders. To develop the link between the neighbourhood and local community producers, and to help to operate an entrepreneurial and an innovative culture in the city, so on a bigger picture. We want to utilise Dublin's range and diversity of public spaces, and that would mean listing and mapping out the current markets and spaces where markets are available. It would involve integrating markets into the public realm strategy that the council would have. And it would also mean everybody being open to new markets, new ideas, and new spaces. Harvesting and promoting cultural arts and events. Understanding that a market is a social meeting place. In essence, we came up with Pub 2.0. To promote a pop-up culture and collaboration, and to provide opportunity for cultural startups, and not just people who want to start commercial business, but for people who maybe are a musician, maybe they're a poet, and to give them the opportunity and the platform to create their startup. To make markets sustainable and green. So to have markets that have green credentials and to follow the council's codes on what green is and environmental friendly. To have quality products and traceability. And perhaps most importantly, have it economically sustainable for all stakeholders, from the market holders, the operators and the council. And finally, we have the chemistry of the market, which will be a part of the charter. And that's sort of what goes into making the market a place where people want to go to buy things, people want to go to sell things, and people want to operate to give the market. And first of all, we would say there should be a space for startups, a specific space, a number of stalls that are set aside for startups to allow for innovation and to allow for a change in the market so it doesn't become stale, and to come away from Graham's problem, which was you have to wait for somebody to die or leave to get into a market. To offer variety, to offer quality both in service and in product, to offer a cultural and a social experience, to have a management style that is agile and not static, so always moving with changes in culture and society in particular. To offer design, innovation, collaboration, and most of all to entertain and to be fun, so that people want to come back. So this is just a quick journey. So the top part basically was Graham a number of months ago with Cookie Dough. He had all this information. He didn't know how to get onto it. It was a friend of a friend of a friend got him a stall in Stillorgan, and he didn't know what to do with it. So he had no information. He arrived up with Cookie Dough and a parasol. That was it. What we want to do is simplify that. So by using clear and active communication via a number of different channels, to land people onto a one-stop shop, which is probably going to be a website. And on that, we'll have all the information that's going to be required. Where markets are, when they're on, how to get involved in them, what you need to bring with you. Okay? And a simple sign-up form for people to easily and simply get involved. So if we look at this from a startup's point of view, what we'll be providing is offering them a number of options. One, having the startup space in the market so there's constantly space to get in there. Allowing them to go in for a short-term test. So for example, Graham used the markets to go in and test their product to get customer feedback. They only used it for 2 or 3 weeks and then moved on to somewhere else. To also offer incubation courses for these startups, which would be run which will be run on a continuous basis and will provide skills such as product development, financial skills, marketing skills, branding skills, and also how markets operate and how best to get your product across. We would also propose having a mentor assigned to each new startup, and that mentor would be somebody who works in the markets. So they could actually talk to them on a Saturday at the end of the day and tell them, this is what you did right, this is what you didn't do right. Or if in particular he has a bad day and he thinks this isn't worth it, that the mentor can come and help him out and sort of say, everybody had a bad day, it was raining outside, there were no customers. So it's not just you, it's everybody, or maybe this is how you change for next week. And for that mentor to work with the startup for up to 6 months, and at the end of 6 months to review with the startup whether they need to adapt and change their product or service, whether they can move into the market full-time, whether that's their business is to be inside the market on a full-time basis, or whether to expand and come out of the market and move into business in general, so into programs such as the Enterprise Ireland program or PS programs. So this is a simple mock-up of our website. The idea being it's simple to use, nice and friendly information, lots of examples, lots of templates, so people know how to fill out the forms, know what they're supposed to have in terms of event management plans and risk plans, and there will be examples there on where to find the information they might need. And also it will include the charter so they can see what they're signing up to. We'd also obviously have an app because everybody seems to have an app. But in particular with the app, we'd be opening that out to the general public, so to allow them to find out when markets are on, what's going to be on in the market, and also to follow a particular trader. So maybe you like the product and they keep moving through different markets. So you can find that trader again and find out how they're doing, and as they move out and expand into the, let's call it the real world, that they can follow those as well. So our timeline, very quickly, just about to finish. We would see over the next couple of months agreeing the charter with the different stakeholders, in particular the council, maybe current market operators, and also entrepreneurs and people who are looking to get into the space. The second phase would be to run a small-scale trial in one of the smaller markets, using the charter and what we tried to do, or maybe taking 6 months, and in particular looking at that agile management and being able to change the charter. And then looking at bringing it to a large-scale project and maybe using the fruit and veg market that is currently being developed by the council. And finally then to roll it out and expand it into all sorts of markets. And in particular you can move this into different jurisdictions as well. And finally the benefits. Well, the benefits come back to the start. We see them as being cultural in that it will give us a market culture in Ireland. Economic is obvious because we're providing a place for people to buy and sell. And finally social. So it's somewhere new for people to go and meet. It's not just down to the pub, as we said earlier. So that's our group, and that's Graham, who's currently on his market stall and not here presenting. So thank you very much.